Okay, so yeah, this is a continuation of a series I'm doing right now called Healing My Past. And last I talked about meeting this girl, who I say is a girl but was really a woman. It's just like you have to be precise with what you say, because what you say could be deceptive. And you don't want to be deceptive, right? I don't want to be deceptive. Being deceptive is wrong. In most cases, unless you have to for your job, like if you're in the CIA or something, you know what I mean? But she was like 40 and I was like 28. And I was like, I don't know what's going on. But like I said, I've been feeling really lost. And all of a sudden, here you are. Not to say that like, oh my gosh, you're my soulmate and I found you and all this stuff is happening and I'm just losing my mind because I'm so in love with you and all these things. Not to say that. But to say, it's so important to specify, isn't it? But to say, I was lost, but now I feel found. And I don't quite know what that means. I'm kind of confused trying to figure out what that means. And so anyway, like I said, we went on this kayaking adventure and it was crazy and it was exciting and enjoyable, but I didn't know what to make of it. I didn't know what to make of the situation. I didn't know what to make of her. I didn't know what to make of her and I. She and I. I couldn't comprehend it. I was like, what the heck? Am I really about to like do this? Because what the heck would that mean? What would that be? That sounds insane. That is kind of counterintuitive to everything I've been thinking or wanting or looking for or hoping for. Yet here I am out in this weird realm of my life and I don't know what's going on really. I'm kind of confused. But all of this stuff is very, very, very hard to put into words. And here's this woman who, okay, she's probably got some issues, and she's way older than me. She's way too old for me, basically. But that was like the only thing standing in the way. It's like, okay, she's way too old for me, right? And I was like, well, yeah, but what is this and what's going on here and why do I feel suddenly so loved and so comforted and so found and all these things, you know what I'm saying? So it was hard for me to make sense of. It was really hard for me to make sense of. And so we stayed in touch and texted here and there. We went a long time without talking again, and some months passed, and I was living with my sister and in a bad place, like I said, with the crazy people upstairs and drugs, fume smells, and insane and scary energy. And just to put things into context a bit more, I felt so optimistic and hopeful from 2016, working for that job at Rise Up, and then getting ready to move, and then finding a serious girlfriend, finding out that someone was actually interested in me. And I was like, what? And then having that relationship with her, the girlfriend who was my first serious girlfriend when I was not serious. And so 2016 was a high point, and then it started going downhill in 2017. And then the rug got pulled out from underneath of us when we all got kicked out of our living spaces. And then our whole world and living situation at home got turned on its freaking head hard. And all this stuff, really crazy, really hard to make sense of. And then I felt lost and then went to Montana and continued to feel lost. And now I found this girl, and now I'm feeling like the year is starting to wind down. And I want it to be better. I want things to get better. I want things to improve. And I am so tired of things being sad. I'm so tired of things being lame. I'm so tired of things being boring. I'm so tired of things being monotonous, repetitive, predictable. I'm so tired of all of that. And I end up coming over to her house around Christmas time, and she had backstory information. She had 3 kids, and only 2 of them were kids. One of them was a senior in high school. So she's got an 18-year-old daughter. She's got a little 8 or 9-year-old daughter, and then she's got a little 5 or 6-year-old son. 6 or 7-year-old little son. So she ain't coming with no strings attached. No matter how you slice it, but she would never present herself that way. She always presented herself as, I am an independent woman. I am a strong, independent woman. She was a manager of a whole restaurant. She was a manager of the Olive Garden. Manager of the whole restaurant. That's no small feat. To me, it's a big deal. To me, after all, that's a legitimate job. That's a legitimate career. That's okay, you're basically a store manager of a grocery store. Same level. And so she's not doing bad on money. Apparently, she's taking care of herself, but she's unhappy. She's so high strung, and she has so much, all of these things, and I can just sense them. And I'm just I just wish that things were better for her, and I wish that I could make them better for her. Maybe I could make them better for her. And I'm feeling all these things, and I need this, and I need that, and I want this, and I want to feel better, and I want to have this and that and everything, And so I come over to her house one evening, and it's me and her young daughter, her younger daughter, and who I basically fell in love with this little girl. She was amazing. She ended up being such a friend to me. And they all ended up having such a special place in my heart, to a certain extent, but the little one especially. I'm not going to say her name because I know that this person would not want me to say her name on the internet because she's protective. I don't want to do that. I don't want to avoid that trust like that. Not that she knows or is watching this or anything like that, but just in case, I don't want to say it. So we'll call the little daughter. We'll call her Cindy. Really, really sweet, so amazing, just beautiful, smart, brilliant, all these things. And this girl, the woman, Jen, was Irish, and so her children are Irish, and there's this whole thing I'm not privy to called being Irish, and it's a whole thing. I just thought it's just a thing, if you're Irish or Italian or whatever, you have some culture to you. Well, apparently being Irish is its own thing, and it comes with all kinds of other isms, and I don't know what to say. It's just it was a whole thing, and I had no idea. I literally had no idea what I was getting myself into, what this was with that. So I'm over at their house later in the evening, and we're playing a game, and we're having fun, and it's getting late, and we keep playing a game, we keep having fun, and it's this is going in a direction that I like. I like where this is going. This is going in a cool direction. This is going in the direction that says, this is awesome. I feel comforted. I feel at home. I feel safe. I feel loved. I feel like I belong here. You know what I mean? Belong as in, I feel like I belonged as in, I felt accepted there. I felt like I could put my guard down. I felt like I could be myself there. I felt like no one was judging me there. I felt like everyone was kind there. Everyone was considerate there. I just felt that way. And it was amazing. So what did I do? We were going to watch a movie on the couch or something, and so we watched a movie on the couch, and I pretend to fall asleep on purpose because I did not want to leave. And maybe this was wrong. I think in certain ways it was wrong because I feel like I was such a weasel thing to do. I feel like I shouldn't have done that. And maybe I'm being a little bit too hard on myself, but I felt like it was sneaky. I felt like it was low. You know what I mean? I felt like it was skeevy. I felt like it was oh, you dirty devil, or I felt it was oh, well, you swarmy fellow or smarmy guy or whatever. I don't know. And that's not That's not me. That's not who I want to be. All these things. So I pretended to fall asleep on the couch. And then I heard her talking to her daughter about getting things ready because they were going to go to sleep too. Because Mr. Justin had fallen asleep. Justin had fallen asleep on the couch. So we want to be quiet for him and everything's going to be okay. We're just, it was just like, it was so cute listening to them. And then they got their blanket out. Jen, the girl, the woman, this lady, this girl, who I keep calling the girl, who was not a girl, but to me, she was a girl. In my context, she had to be a girl, because I couldn't comprehend her being a woman, if that makes sense, because she was so much older than me. It was too hard to comprehend. Excuse me. And so she lays out a blanket for her and her daughter there on the floor, and they went to sleep next to me on the floor. And I was on the couch and they were on the floor, and it was like so adorable, and I ended up feeling bad, kind of, and woke up and everything the next morning and pretended like it was totally legit. Pretended like, oh, I totally fell asleep. Oh. I never said, oh, I did this on purpose. I never admitted that until later, way later. And once we were comfortable and laughing about things. And once that happened, I basically never left. I stayed around and I kept coming back, and I continued working my job, but then I started staying there. I started staying there more than I wasn't, and all this stuff, and me and her started getting close to each other and doing things you shouldn't do outside of marriage, and things like that. And so, and I started becoming one of the people, one of the crew, one of the fam, And so that's what was going on. And eventually I moved in. And so it's the beginning of 2018 now at this point. And I was there for 2018 and lived all the way up till like the summer. And then we had talked about finding another place to live, moving somewhere cheaper, and just wanting to change. I vented to her and I explained all the stuff I was feeling about Rise Up and feeling all these different things. I was like either tired from or over, or this or that, or this or that, or this or that. Just these honest, candid conversations about life. And we continued to bond on that spiritual level. It did continue to get to that point where it was like, well, Justin, you've kind of worn out your welcome here. Not that you've worn out your welcome, but it was like you've kind of gotten to the point here, Justin, where what are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? What are you going to do? Live with her? Like, what's going on? What are you going to do? Like, this is, what are you going to do? And she was kind of like wondering the same thing in a way. And anyway, I ended up just, we ended up becoming a thing, I guess. We did. We started dating seriously. Well, I asked her to be my girlfriend eventually. And that was like putting a ring on it. And anyway, so eventually we ended up finding a place to live. An opportunity opened up with her, a house next to her dad that her uncle owned and was renting out. And so we ended up moving away. We had a big yard sale, and we ended up moving across the state to the other side of the state, literally like an hour and a half away. Longer than an hour and a half, maybe closer to 2 hours really, after all. And moved out there into this house, and that was a whole experience, to say the least. And I can't believe, like, there was literally so much I'm missing so much as I'm telling this story right now. There's so much I'm leaving out. Just know that there was a lot. There was a lot between she and I, the dynamic, all these things. There was just a lot. There was a lot. So it's really hard to put into words. Yeah. It's really hard to put into words. It's just a lot. So, gonna end this here for now. Got to, but yep. Next time, we'll continue.